Welcome to your Get That Nugget for GCSE English Language. Today we'll be concentrating on giving you a framework to answer paper 1 question 4, the evaluation question. This session is to complement your lessons with your teachers and not to replace them in any way. To begin, I just want to recap the aims of question 4. This is my absolute favourite question and I'm hoping it's going to end up being yours too. These aims actually are the ones that you stumble over maybe a little bit, maybe you don't, I'm not quite sure, but I think most people do stumble over them. And I think the reason for that is because you have to evaluate, and evaluate may seem like a strange concept to people, but you are students of English, so you actually evaluate things without even realising it. You actually do this in English literature all the time. You may not necessarily know that you are doing it, but you do have that skill. And what's great about this question is you can transfer that skill from English literature to this question and be really successful at it. So the aims of question 4 is to evaluate the effects on the reader. You have to show an understanding of writers' methods, and you should be able to respond to the focus of the statement. And then if you remember, this question will always give you a statement that you have to then say to what extent you agree. So this one is the one we looked at for the monkey paw. If you remember, we've been working on the monkey paw throughout the last few nuggets, and we worked on these last time. And I talked to you in the previous cohort nuggets about how to respond to these questions. And it was a step-by-step approach that I gave you. So this is what I like to call the what, how, why question. Because if I call it this, people respond much better to the what, how, why question than if I call it an evaluation question. If I call it an evaluation question, everyone gets a bit panicked. Everyone's not quite clear what I mean about evaluation. So we go with this approach instead, the what, how, why. And I'm going to end up making sure that you love this question, and it's going to be one of the ones that you do really well on, amongst all the others as well. But this one in particular, because it's a 20-mark question, we are needing to make sure that we've got this question down. And actually all the skills, as I said, transferable from literature, but also you've used the skills in the previous questions of this paper. So it should be one that we can smash out really easily. Okay, so the what, how, why. So the what is we need to, into our response, make sure at the start of our paragraph, we've got our idea and our evaluative comment. Okay, so if we've got that in the first part of our paragraph, we've immediately shown our examiner that we know what we are doing for this question and we are bossing it. The how is the method and the quote. So the how has the writer done it? Okay, how have they done it? So have they used a structural technique? Have they used a language technique? Have they used different techniques mixed together? It doesn't really matter what it is, and you've just, as I said, answered question 2 and 3. So these, depending on what the sections of the text that you've been asked to do, you will already have some of that waiting for you, and then you can just use your planning time to find the rest. Usually, it's very unusual for question 2 and question 4 to overlap in terms of the sections of the text. So you're more likely to have something structurally to write about, but you won't have the same language section. And then finally, the why. The why is the effects and to link back to that question. This is actually more key than people realise. If you don't write the effects, then you're losing out on really key marks and easy marks as well. And if you don't link back, you're technically not really answering the question. It may be that you are, and I'm sure you are, but we need to make our examiner's life a little bit easier, and we need to make sure we're really obvious and clearly showing them that we are answering that question and we're answering it really well. So please try and make sure that your answer responds back and links back to the wording of that question. And you can actually use the words from the question. That's okay, you're not being repetitive. As long as you're not using the same words over and over again, use the question. The question is there to help you. You just need to make sure that the parts of your end of the deal is to do this, evaluate and use methods and effects. They've given you the question, so you can use that to however you want to use it. Okay, so that was our question. Our question was, this extract really builds intention and you can really feel how scared the man is. So we needed to make sure that we were really clear on the lines, and we needed to make sure we were really clear on what we were being asked to do. And we did that in the previous nugget. So we know we were looking at the tension being built and we were looking at how scared the man was. Then what we did, before we even got to this, because this is obviously the writing stage, we made sure we drew a line across to where the lines that we needed to read. And we were line 8 down. This is quite a big section of text, which was done on purpose so that you could have a bit more practice. You won't necessarily, and it's quite unusual for you to get this amount of text to be able to answer from in the exam. But as a practice, it's a very good one because it means you've got more to work with. So back to the text. So we had to find things that showed, if you remember the question, the building tension and how scared the man was. So much like question 2 and 3, we needed to find anything at all that showed that. Now this is a great text because there's actually quite a lot of things to pick from. And we looked at things like the setting, we looked at things like the direct speech which revealed their thoughts and feelings. Oh, that's a memory coming back from question 3. And that's what I'm saying about how question 3 can actually help you with this. And for this extract, actually question 2 can help you as well, because that was our question 2 section up here. So we've got the setting, we've got the idea that he can't face it, that he's so scared. We've got all of those words we've picked out before, so that he's fearful, he's trembling, he's laying silently. Use that to your advantage, because actually all you need to do is once you've annotated, you only need 4 things. So if you're quick annotating, and the more you practice, the quicker you're going to be, but you may end up with something like 8 things. There is no way you can write about 8 things. It's just not going to work. You won't have time. What you are going to need to do is pick those golden 4. So pick the 4 things, the 4 ideas that you've got, and then you're going to prove your ideas by using the evidence from the text. Okay, so for example, we know this paragraph very well because we did it for question 2. But we know that the man is really scared here. We know he is, because we already looked at the idea that he was scared, because that was what was creating suspense for our reader. So our first idea is the man is scared, because that's part of the question, isn't it? Okay, so the man is scared. So we can use what we used in question 2. We can use that semantic field. We can use the auditory language should we wish it. We can use whatever we want because it's in the text for our taking. We take whatever we want from it, remember, that's our superpower. So you take it from the text and then you decide whether that shows that the man is scared. We know he's scared because we've read it. So here we actually agree with the statement because he is scared. Okay, so take that. Then what you'll do is you'll plan the rest of it. Now you might get a text where it's not that you agree with the statement, and that's absolutely fine. You can agree, disagree, or partially agree. If you're partially agreeing, then you need to make sure that you have got agree and disagree evidence. Make sure you don't say that you partially agree, but then don't write both sides. Otherwise, your answer is not going to be very clear. For the purposes of this text, we are going to agree with it because I think we can all agree that the extract does build in tension and we can see how scared the man is. Okay, so once you've done one, you're then going to pick your rest of your ideas. And like I said, you need 4 of them. So this was idea 1. Your second idea might be something to do with structure, the idea that information is given to us and then withheld. That's a great idea and you can use lots of evidence to prove that. And then the 3 and 4, of course, is up to you. And think about those 4 that you can actually write about, because it's all about evaluating that statement. Okay, yes, it is analysing language and yes, it is analysing structure, but more importantly, you are evaluating whether the writer has done this effectively or not. So it might be that the writer has not done something effectively. It might be they've not done something that's conscious or deliberate. Now, we know that writers do that. So you're going to have to find the things that they've successfully done if you do agree with it. So we would probably say that it's really successful. The man looks afraid or seems how scared he is, because actually the writer successfully has chosen a semantic field to show that, or has written setting effectively to show that. And it's about those key words. If we can use key words like purposefully, or purposely, or if you can use keywords like successfully, intentionally, because you are evaluating the writer. You are saying whether they've done something properly or not, or effectively or not, consciously, deliberately. You're thinking about what they've done and if they've done it well. It is all about if they've done something effectively. You are being the judge of this text. When you go and see a film, you'll judge it. When you have a conversation about a football match, you're judging the football match. So you actually evaluate things all the time. The only difference here is you are judging and evaluating a text. So you need to think about if they've been successful in what they've set out to do. Now, this student says how scared the man is, that it builds intention. If you think that they've done that effectively, then find things in that text to show that. And that's what being evaluative means. When you do a literature text, so for example, if you do Romeo and Juliet, you will be evaluating those characters. You will evaluate how immature Romeo is, or you'll evaluate how aggressive Tybalt is. You're evaluating all the time. So you're just doing the same thing, but they're giving you a statement. And your job is to find things within that text to see whether you agree or disagree with that. So the planning of question 4 is key. And that's what I want you to practice. And I think it would be a great idea if you did that. So in the next nugget, we'll look at how to construct an answer. But for your practice, remember what I said about the what, how, why. So think about the 4 golden things from the text. And more importantly, we're going to think about what methods have been used and your effects. But your 4 golden ideas will structure all of that. So come up with these first. That's your number 1 job, and then this is your second job, because this is actually writing an answer, and you can't write an answer till you've planned it. Okay, so first job, we've read the question already, and then you're going to find your 4 golden ideas. What ideas have you got from that text that would then link back to that question? You can also do this on the practice paper that you've been given, the Goldfinch, and if you look at the question is quite a nice one as well. The question for this extract is: the description is so vivid, the character of the mother really seems to come to life. So you could do that question, and I encourage you to do so. Use the extract and then give that to your teacher to mark. I'm sure they'd be really happy to do that for you. I would just concentrate on the annotations now, and then once I've shown you how to write a response, then it would be great to give that to your teacher to mark.